Yeah, good evening. So before start today's session, let us try to recall what we covered in our last session in brief. So in our last session, we started a very important topic, that is OSI model. The purpose of the OSI model is to communicate between the different networks. As we covered, before the OSI model, every company maintains their own format for the communication purpose. So one company may not communicate with another company format. So to overcome such type of the problems, ISO, that is International Standard Organization, or you can say International Organization of Standardization, developed a model that is OSI. OSI stands for Open Systems Interconnection. So with the help of that, every network can communicate with any device that might be in the any network. So that is the advantage of OSI model. It has 7 layers, and every layer has its own functionalities. So layers are physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. These are the layers. And bottom 3 layers are called hardware layers. Top 3 layers are called software layers. And the middle one, that is a transport layer, is called heart of the OS, that acts as the interface between these upper three and bottom 3 layers. And the bottom 3 layers also called network support layers. And the top 3 layers are also called software layers, because we work with the different softwares in the upper 3 layers. Right. So we discussed about all 7 layers with their functionalities, but we majorly covered few of them only in our last session. Remaining will be covered in this session. Physical layer, the main functionalities of the physical layers are line configuration, data transmission, topology, signals. We covered all these individually. And data link layer, so it is used for the error-free transformation, and the data exists in the data link layer called data frames. And sublayers in the data link layers are two, LLC and MESC. And framing is one of the main functionality of the data link layer, where data is framed in a particular format. In that data header and trailer, we have there, that is called framing. This is the framing structure. All we are covered in our last session. Just we are trying to recall those: header, payload, and trailer. Then physical addressing, one of the important thing of this one. Every device, whatever we have in the network, must be recognized with help of the physical addressing. In this, we are using a MAC address of the individual devices. Error control, access control, error recognition and correction. That is error control, access control. Which device must be accessed first? Okay. Network layer, internetworking addressing. Here the addressing is called logical addressing actually. If device is connected to any network, that network must be identified with logical address, where logical address is nothing but IP address. Routing and packetizing. So whenever you want to send any data through the network, that data can be reached to the destination by using different routes. But in the network layer responsibility is it is going to find best route to send your data. Packetizing, the data is in the form of packets in the network layer. And next one is a transport layer. We use two type of the protocols in a transport layer. Those are TCP, UDP. TCP nothing but transmission control protocol. This is connection based protocol. User datagram protocol. This is connectionless, that is wireless protocol. And coming to the functionalities of the transport layer, service point addressing. So whenever you are working with your device, you may work with the multiple application. Okay. For example, if you are using a system, you may listen the music with help of the media player, or you let us suppose you are trying to applying for a job. When you clicked on the submit button, you will get some successful message, a message that represent your application is successfully sent to the server like that. So in such cases, how that particular message will be delivered to that particular application only, for that particular website only. Why that not? Why the same message is not displayed on the media player of your same system? So that is nothing but service point addressing. So same everything, every transaction could be done and that be delivered to the particular application only. Even the multiple applications are being executed in your system, and the response also, first the device will be identified in the network. After that, and the particular application will be identified, and to that particular application, the data will be delivered. Segmentation and reassembly. So one of the functionalities of the transport layer is segmentation. It's maintain the data in the form of the segments, and the reassembly means the data will be sent in a different order, and that data will be arranged in a particular order at the receiver side. Now see this. For example, this system is sender. This is the receipt or receiver simply. So we need to cover this point. We didn't cover in the last session. From this point, we are going to discuss in detail. For example, I want to send a message with help of this system to this system. And I want to send a message. Let us assume that my message is long message. This is my message, for example. Okay. So when we are working with the transport layer, these might be sent to the receiver in the different order. At the time of the sending, those are in the same order, long message. But whenever you're trying to send this message to the particular place, particular destination, these may not be sent with help of the same order. The order might be different while the data is being transmitting in the network. But at the destination side, again, the data must be reordered to deliver the same message to the receiver. So this is the responsibility of the transport layer. And next functions of the transport layer, connection control. Transport layer provides two services, connection oriented service and connectionless service. Already we covered the protocols also. One is connection oriented service protocol and another is connectionless service protocol, UDP, connectionless, TCP, connection oriented. A connectionless service treats each segment as an individual packet. A connectionless service treats each segment as an individual packet, and they all travel in a different routes to reach the destination. Okay, in the connectionless service, each and every segment may travel in the different routes to reach the destination. Okay, wired. In simple terms, it is a wired protocol. In connection-oriented services, it is connectionless. First one is connectionless, that is UDP. Connection-oriented, TCP. In connection-oriented service, make a connection with the transport layer at the destination machine before delivering the packets. So whenever you want to deliver a particular data to any machine, before start the sending of that packets, that machine has to establish the connection from source to destination. After the connection is setted, then only the data is being transmitted through that connection. This is about connection oriented method. In connection-oriented service, all the packets travel in the single route. This is very important point. Just now we covered in the connectionless service, each and every packets may reach their destination by using the different routes. But in the connection-oriented service, all the packets delivered to the destination by using the single route. Okay. Next, flow control. So this is the responsibility of the data link layer also, right? We covered in the data link layer also flow control, error control. So the transport layer are also responsible for the flow control, but it is performed end to end rather than across a single link. End to end flow control. The transport layer responsibility is end to end flow control. Flow control means if there is a mismatch between the receiver and sender speed, the data flow will be controlled. Okay. Then error control, the transport layer is also responsible for the error control. Error control is performed end to end rather than across a single link, because in the data link layer, flow control, error control for the single link only, but he is end to end, starting point to ending point. End to end flow control, end to end error control will be done by the transport layer. The sender transport layer ensures that message reach at the destination without any error. That is the responsibility of transport layer itself. So that's it. That is about the transport layer. Next, session layer. This is the fifth layer in the OSI model. The session layer is used to establish, maintain, and synchronizes the interaction between communicating devices. Nothing but if you want to connect the two devices in the network, the session layer responsibility is, it is a responsibility of the session layer to establish the connection between the two devices, point one. Next, it maintains the connection and synchronizes the connection. These are the responsibilities of session layer. Okay. So very good real example is, for example, if you want to connect to your mail account, try to log in into the your mail account and don't click on any link like inbox or sent mail drafts. Don't click on any link or any label. Just keep it as it is. After 1 hour, just try to click on any link. Then you will get an error message. In general, session has expired. Okay. You might get that type of the messages. You might have seen that. Okay. Session has expired. Please log in again. Or whenever you are working with banking related websites also, you may find this type of the error message. Session has expired, right? So that is the responsibility of the session layer. Session means it is going to maintain one connection. With the help of that connection only, every transactions will be done. If once the connection is destroyed, once the connection is disconnected, the session has expired. Generally, every application maintains some time for the sessions. If user didn't give any input after that particular time, automatically the created session will be destroyed. Whenever you are trying to connect to a particular server, at that time a session is created, and with that session number only your transactions will be done. If you are inactive for after the specified time, automatically the session will be destroyed. The session has been expired. So that is the real-time usage of the session layer. Next, dialog control functionalities of the session layer. Dialog control. Session layer acts as a dialog controller that creates a dialogue between two processes, or we can say that it allows the communication between two processes, which can be either off duplex or full duplex. Nothing but it is going to act as a dialog controller to implement the data transmission. And the data transmission might be of any mode like half duplex or full duplex. Then synchronization, one of the functionality of the session layer. Session layer adds some checkpoints when transmitting the data in a sequence. Whenever you are trying to sending the data from source to destination, generally the session layer use some checkpoints. If some error occurs in the middle of the transmission of the data, then the transmission will take place again from the checkpoint. No need to send from the starting point. Suppose if you use some checkpoints for a particular data, let us say I'm using 10 checkpoints. If any portion of the data may not delivered correctly, using the checkpoints, we can send that particular data point only. No need to send the complete data from starting to stop ending point. So this process is known as synchronization and recovery. So this is the responsibility of the session layer. You can understand it in with simple example. Synchronization means, suppose in our mobile also we have the option synchronization, Gmail account. If you are not activate the option synchronization of your Gmail account, even though if you received the mails, that might not be reflected in your mobile because there is no synchronization of your account to your mobile. That's why you must activate the option synchronization. Then only if you receive the mail into your inbox, automatically that will be reflected in your mobile also. Okay. That is what synchronization, time to time updation. Then see this image. The above layer of the session layer is presentation layer as we covered just now. It takes the data from the presentation layer. Okay. And the data will be sent to the session layer. The session layer responsibility is maintain the connection and synchronization. And after that, that will be sent, the data will be sent to the transport layer. At the receiver side, again, we are discussing about the session layer portion only. Okay. At the sender level, at the receiver level, all the layers can work. Every layer has its own responsibility, but we are discussing about this particular portion only. And coming to the receiver side, transport layer will receive the data and send it to the session layer. After that, the data will be sent to the presentation layer. This is at the receiver side. Right. So next layer is presentation layer. This is the sixth layer. By the name, you can understand that. Observe the name presentation. So it is the main purpose of the presentation layer is to present the data on the screen, to display the data on the screen. So different softwares may use different formats to display the data. Okay, so that's why the major point about the presentation layer is it works with the syntax and semantics of the information. What is the rule we need to follow to display the data? What is the meaning of the information and so on? So the thing is how to display the data on the different devices. What are the rules we need to follow internally? So those works will be done by the presentation layer in simple terms. A presentation layer is mainly concerned with syntax and semantics of the information exchanged between the two systems. In simple terms, it is work as a data translator for the network. So this layer is a part of the operating system. This layer is a part of the operating system that converts the data from one presentation format to another format. Okay. This is very important point. Suppose we have the data in XYZ server. Let us say you are working with any banking related website. Okay. And your requirement is if you want to take the 6 months account details, account transaction details. Okay. And we have the option in the online banking. You can log in through your credentials and you can check out with the option whatever we have. With help of that, you can select the starting date and ending date. That might be 6 months or 3 months, depends on your requirement. And whenever you click on OK, you might be get different options. You want to download the data in the form of HTML, PDF, Excel, and so on. Nothing but converting the data. Okay, and the converting the data from one presentation format to another presentation format, one format to another format, or one file format to another file format. All these will be done by the presentation layer. Okay, the data might be in the form of a different format in the actual bank website, but whenever you're trying to download, that might be downloaded in the form of PDF. So for this, the actions should be taken care by the operating system because it is a part of the operating system. Then the presentation layer is also known as syntax layer because based on the syntactical rules only, the presentation layer works. Coming to the functions of the presentation layer, translation, as I covered just now, converting from one format to another format. The process in two systems exchange the information in the form of character strings, numbers, and so on. Different computers use different encoding methods. So the presentation layer handles the interoperability, nothing but that can understand all the different formats between the different encoding methods. We have different type of the encoding methods like uh, some operating systems may use BCD, EBCD, ASCII, and so on. Different encoding methods are there. UTF. Okay. So the presentation layer can understand all the encoding methods and that can convert from one format to another format that can display the data that should be understandable by the user. The presentation layer converts the data from sender dependent format into common format and changes the common format into receiver dependent format at the receiving end. Okay, it uses its own intermediate level format and receive the data from the sender in the sender format and it will display the data in the receiver format. Encryption and decryption, this is also responsibility of the presentation layer. For example, if you are working with let me give a simple example. If you are working, whenever you are working with the WhatsApp, you may observe a message. Every chat you can done with help of the WhatsApp can be encrypted and decrypted. You may get that type of the message sometimes, right? So nothing but whatever the chart you are doing with help of the WhatsApp, that will not be sent through the network as the same words. Then the words will be encrypted. Nothing but a human readable language can be converted into unreadable language. And in technical term, that can be converted into the ciphertext, not understandable format. And when it reaches to the sender, again, that will be converted from ciphertext to normal text. Then human can understand it. So this process can be done with help of the presentation layer only. This process is called encryption and decryption. Convert understandable to not understandable format. Encryption, and at the receiver side, converting not understandable to understandable format. That is decryption. Okay. So encryption and decryptions is also functionalities or responsibilities of the presentation layer. Next, compression. Data compression is a process of compressing the data without losing the data. Okay, it reduces the number of the bits to be transmitted. Data compression is very important in multimedia such as text, audio, video, because some applications may not provide to transfer the data if your data capacity is more, if that takes more memory. That's why that must be compressed. A very good example is, suppose if you want to apply for any job, or if you are trying to register with any website, sometimes you may have the option like upload your photo, right? So at that time, you may find the instructions like the photo should be less than 100K, right? Nothing but the data must be compressed. If you directly upload your photo, that might have 2 MB, 3 MB, depending on your camera, depending on your mobile, whatever you are using, that takes much memory. So maintaining the server and uploading that much memory of that particular image is not required in that case. That's why the compression is compulsory. Okay, so this compression is responsibility of presentation layer. The above layer of the presentation layer is application layer. From that application layer, it receives the data first to the presentation layer at the sender side. The responsibilities of the presentation layer: encoded, encrypted, encryption and decryption, compressing the data. All the functionalities will be done by the presentation layer. And after that, the data will be sent to the below layer of the presentation layer, that is session layer. So this is part related to the presentation layer at the sender side. And whenever that is received by the receiver at the receiver side, and coming to this part only, session layer, from the session layer, the data will be received, and presentation layer will take care about these functionalities. And after that, the data will be sent to the application layer. Okay, this is a simple diagram related to the portion of the presentation layer only. Next layer and last layer in the OSI model is application layer, layer 7 or L7 simply. So an application layer serves as a window for users and application processes to access network services. So if you want to use different applications, the operating system must provide the facility to use different application. This is what application layer. Application layer serves as a window for users and application processes to access the network service. And it handles the issues such as network transparency, resource allocation. For example, if you want to execute any particular application, memory is allocated for that particular application, and the processor must be give some time to execute that particular application. Like that, all will be done by the operating system. Okay, for the application layer. An application layer is not an application, but it performs the application layer functions. This layer provides the network services to the end users. Okay. End user is nothing but who is working with that particular application. Okay. After developing an application, the users working with the developed application are called end users. They may not have the good technical skills. They know how to work with that particular application. So what are the features your application has? That applications can work with help of the application layer internal. Functions of application layers: file transfer, access, and management. If you want to transfer the file by using XYZ application, and or if you want to get the file from the another server, or if you want to upload and retrieve and modify or update the files from your system. Suppose you might be maintain your data in the cloud also, like a Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. If you want to access, create, modify the data in that files also, you can do that with help of your system, right? So for all those things, when you're working with the networking also, these functionalities can be implemented with help of the application layer. An application layer allows a user allows a user to access the files in a remote computer, nothing but your data might be available in any system. That system might be anywhere in the world. With help of the networks, you can access it. With help of the internet, you can access it. And to retrieve the files from the computer, and to manage the files in the remote computer, nothing but in the server, you can do all things of the activities related to the files, creating, delete, modifying, and so on. All these you can done with help of the application layer. Mail services and application layer provides the facility for email forwarding and storage. Suppose whenever you are logged in into your email, you can see what are the mails you have, but actually where the mails are stored in the mail server, not in your desktop, not in your laptop, but you are trying to access that server with help of your credentials. Okay, so this can be done with help of the application layer only. Directory services, an application provides the distributed database sources and is used to provide that global information about various objects. Okay, distributed database sources means the same data or different type of the data can be stored in the different databases, and from the different sources the data can be fetched to perform a particular task. That is distributed sources, distributed systems, distributed databases. So this is again very important point you need to remember. At least you need to remember at least one protocol for one layer. This is the slide. With help of this, you can understand what are the protocols we use for each and every layer. Next point is, what is the term we use at each and every layer while transmitting the data from one point to another point. See this, already we covered, this part we already covered. But anyway, see, in the physical layer, the data is represented in the form of bits. In the data link layer, the data is maintained in the form of frames. At the network layer, the data is represented with help of packets. You must remember these words. Transport layer, the data is maintained in the form of segments. And for session layer, presentation layer, and application layer, there is no particular term we are using. We are using the word data itself again. Now, coming to this point, in the physical layer, that is works with the physical things, that is waves and transmission media and so on, right? So what are the cables we are using that might be guided or unguided? We covered already. Coaxial cables, fiber cables, and wireless, that might be different type of the waves. Then data link layer, Ethernet, FDDI. So these are the frequently used protocols in data link layer. And this is one more important point. The very frequently used and very popular protocol used at a network layer is IP, Internet Protocol. Okay. Then coming to the transport layer, already we covered these two protocols, TCP, UDP. Okay, at the basic level, these are enough. Then session layer, different type of the APIs and sockets we use to maintain the session layers. And presentation layer, file transfer protocol, and secure socket layer, SSL. Okay, these are very popular protocols at presentation layer. And coming to the application layer, a very frequently used one and very popular one, probably all the people may know it, HTTP. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is belongs to the application layer that is used to work with web applications. Okay, so these are the different protocols we use at the different layers. Now see, so as of now, what we covered, what are the layers available in the OSI and what are the major responsibilities of the 7 layers. So you can observe all those things in brief in a single slide. Application layer. This layer provide the service to the user. Okay, in brief, in simple terms. Presentation layer. It is responsible for translation, compressions, and encryption, decryptions. Session layer. It is used to establish and manage and terminate the sessions. Okay, just try to remember at least this word, then you will get an idea about the functionalities. Transport layer, it provides reliable message delivery from process to process, end to end. Network layer, so it is responsible for moving the data packets from source to destination. Then data link layer, it is used for error-free transfer of the data frames. And physical layer, it provides physical media through which the data bits are being transmitted. So probably we cover all the points, and we spend a lot of time for the OSI layer because OSI layer is very, very important one. So probably you have 3 units regarding to the OSI layers only. Okay, we covered all the major points and about the OSI layer. So this is about OSI layers, and with this we covered block number. Okay, this is about block 2 OSI layers, and in the unit 5, as per your syllabus, we covered network layer, transport layer, and in the unit 6, we covered protocols we used just now we covered, and functionalities of the session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. So we covered all these things. Next, as per your syllabus, next topic is HTML. So the part related to the DCCN is completed. Okay. As per our syllabus, we need to cover 2 parts. First part is about networking. Okay. What is data communication and computer networks, and what are the different medias we use, transmission modes, devices, connectors, layers, functionalities. And the second part is about HTML. So now we are going to start the HTML part. Right. What is HTML? What is the use of the HTML? Where we use HTML? So HTML is a short form. The full form or acronym. HTML is an acronym. The standard form for the HTML is hypertext. H for hyper, T for text, M for markup, L for language. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language. You must remember this very, very basic point. Hypertext Markup Language. So that is used for creating web pages and web applications. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The main intention of the HTML is it is used to develop the websites in simple terms. If you want to develop websites, in that we use HTML. HTML only is not enough to develop a fully functioned website, but we use HTML to develop the websites. Okay. Then Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee is known as the father of HTML. He's a scientist. The scientist name is Tim Berners-Lee. The first available description of HTML was a document called HTML tags proposed by Tim in late 1991. The first available description about the HTML. Okay, first time Tim Berners-Lee released a document that has a description about the HTML that is called HTML tags in the year of 1991. Then let me tell you some more points about what is hypertext, what is markup language. As we covered, HTML stands for hypertext markup language, right? So what is the meaning of hypertext and what is the meaning of markup language? Let us split it and try to understand about these words. Hypertext. Hypertext, the word hypertext represent the text within the text. Text within the text. The meaning is a text has a link within it. For example, if you open any application or any app in your mobile event, suppose when you have the submit button or login button, if you click on the login button after entering the user ID and password, if you clicked on the login button, if that user ID and the password what you entered are correct, then automatically you are going to redirect it to the that particular home page or your account page or your profile page, right? So here the meaning is the text submit has text within the text. Text within the text means we have a link within the text. In that example, the text is submit or login. Within that login text, within the text login, we have a link. With help of that link, you are going to redirect it to your page, your account related page. So this is the meaning of hypertext. Whenever you click on a link which brings you to a new web page, you have clicked on the hypertext. So hypertext is a way to link two or more web pages. A web page is nothing but, in general, a document developed using HTML. A document developed using HTML is called a web page in general. So hypertext is used to link two or more web pages. That is the meaning of hypertext. And in simple terms, connecting one page to another page. With help of the link, you can go from the one web page to another web page. Let me give a simple example. For example, whenever you are applying for any job or whenever you're trying to register with any website, after filling your data, you may find pay the amount for the applications, let us say. When you click on the pay amount, you are going to redirect it to the build related websites like Buildesk and so on. Okay. So this is what hypertext. You are redirecting from one website to another website, one web page to another web page. This is the meaning of hypertext. Next, what is a markup language? Markup language is a computer language that is used to apply layout, important point, layout and formatting conventions to a text document. Okay. So the markup language is nothing but one of the languages. We have different type of the languages. Some are programming languages, some are scripting languages, some are markup languages like HTML. Of course, here also we need to write the code. So the main intention of the HTML is the word markup language meaning is it is used to set the layouts. Nothing but where is your the border of your document and what are the objects you want to keep in your web page and what is the format of that particular text document, what is the font style or font color you want to maintain, how many buttons you want to maintain, how many labels you want to maintain in your web page, and what is the place for that particular button. Like this, if whatever the layout, okay, the layout will be decided with help of the HTML in the web page. Markup language makes text more interactive and dynamic. Okay. With help of the markup language, you can make the text more interactive way and more dynamic way. Suppose if you display all the text in the document like a paragraph, that might not be interactive, right? So you can display the data with help of the buttons or labels or images and so on. All we can done with help of the markup languages. It can turn text into images, tables, links, etc. As I said, as per your requirement, you can turn your text into images, interactive images, or tables, links, etc. Then what is web page? A web page is a document which is commonly written in HTML. What is web page? That is a document developed using HTML and translated by a web browser. A web page can understood by any web browser like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. Okay, if a document is developed with help of any HTML, with help of the HTML, that can be understood by any browser, any web browser. A web page can be identified by entering an URL. Then how to understand, how to identify a particular web page in the internet? Because you have the URL. Suppose if you want to open Google, how to open a Google? You need to type google.in or google.com in the URL address bar. In the address bar, you can use that URL. For example, if you want to log in SBI account, what you need to do? Open the any browser like Google Chrome or Firefox, whatever, and type in the URL www.sbi.com or sbi.in, whatever. Okay. So in every web page, every website must be identified with the help of the URL. How the individual persons can be identified with a primary key. Suppose the student can be identified with the help of the hall ticket number or roll number in the school or colleges. In the same way, in the internet also, we have so many different websites, lakhs of websites we have. How to identify each and every website and web page? Because we need to maintain one URL, the unique name. A web page can be of static page or dynamic type. A static web page means the page will display some information and the information will not be changed time to time. Only simply that will be displayed. A simple example for this static web page is news related website. For example, I have Enadu paper website, let us say. Okay. If you open Enadu e-paper website and you're trying to reading the e-paper, can you modify the data in the e-paper? Obviously, no, because that is static page. You cannot interact with that. You cannot modify that. You cannot give any input to that. Whatever the data that document that page has, you need to read that. That's it. You cannot do any operations with that. That is called static web pages. Just you are allowed to read the data. The dynamic web pages means the content of the web page will be changed from time to time. That is the meaning of dynamic type. Suppose if you give, let me give a simple example. You have a result page, let us say, in your university. You have a result page in your university related website. And in that, you may have the interface like enter your hall ticket number. Okay. Then you need to enter your hall ticket number. Click on result, let us say. Automatically, your results will be displayed in that web page. So that is dynamic. Depending on your input, the content will be changed. If you enter another hall ticket number, that will give the result related to that particular hall ticket number. The content will be changed from time to time, depending on the input. So that is dynamic nature of the web page. With the help of the HTML, we can create static web pages only. Please remember this very, very important point. With the help of the HTML, we cannot create dynamic web pages. We can create only static web pages with the help of the HTML. You can display the data in the form of table, images, or labels, buttons, so on. But we cannot give event. We cannot give interactive mode. to a web page with help of the HTML. For example, if you develop any web page with help of the HTML, let us say, enter your mail ID, enter your password, click on the submit or login. If you enter mail ID and password, if you click on the submit button also, you won't get any result because that is static. That is what's happening in the HTML. You can design that. That may not have the functionalities. Even though you clicked on the submit button, nothing will be happen internally. Okay. So generally, this is the nature of the HTML. The basic HTML is a static web pages only. The basic purpose of the HTML is to create the static web pages. Hence, HTML is a markup language which is used for creating attractive web pages with the help of styling, CSS styles we will cover later on, and which looks in a nice format on a web browser. HTML is give the outline or layout, and we can display the data in the different format. Along with that, we can give different styles, different colors, different formats, different font styles. All can be applied to the HTML page with help of the separate concept called CSS, cascading style sheets. With help of that particular concept, you can give the different styles which may give a good look to your web page. An HTML document is made of many HTML tags, and each HTML tag contains different content. HTML tag is nothing but just remember that is one type of the command. Okay, I will show you how to represent a tag. So we have so many tags, so many different tags in the HTML. Every tag is used to implement different tasks. Okay. Now, let us discuss some features of the HTML. So it is very easy and a simple language. It can easily understood and modified. You can easily develop, you can easily understand. I will show you the code. You can easily develop, easily understand the code. It is very simple to understand and develop. And you can easily modify it also. It is very easy to make an effective presentation with HTML because it has lot of formatting tags. Nothing but you can create the headings, side headings, and different styles like bold, italic, and so on. Effectively, you can create the presentation. It is a markup language, so it provides a flexible way to design the web pages along with the text. Along with the text, you can create the web page with good design with help of the images. It facilitates programmers to add a link on the web page. This is what hyperlink by HTML anchor tag. To create the hyperlink, we use anchor tag. We will implement that later on in the coming sessions. So it enhances the interest of browsing of the user. Okay. Suppose uh, if you want to display some information about any topic, if user wants to know more about that particular topic, you can create any link. And whenever a user clicked on that particular link, that will be redirected to the any other website or any other web page. Okay. That is about the links, hyperlinks. This is platform independent like Windows operating system, Linux operating system, or Mac operating system, and so on. For each and every operating system, we can use this HTML. It facilitates the programmer to add graphics, videos, and sounds to the web pages, which makes it more attractive and interactive. With help of the HTML pages, you can add video, audio, and graphics also. HTML is a case-sensitive programming language, which means we can use tags either in lowercase or in uppercase. Lowercase letter is treated as different from the uppercase letter. So very simple to understand is suppose we have a tag A, let us say. Capital A is treated as completely different from the small a. That is what case sensitive. The case is sensitive. That might be uppercase or lowercase. The case is very sensitive. Okay. So that's it about today's session. In the next session, we cover what are how to develop HTML, what are the text editors we use to develop HTML, and what are the different blocks we have in the HTML, and what is HTML tag, how to write HTML tag. And after that, we'll go for the coding part. I will show you the coding, how to write HTML and how to execute also. Right. So I will share this document. Go through it. If you have any doubts, you can ask that.